you're going out into the environment, do you ever take anyone into the country, into the, walk down a tree-lined path and do things like that?
Wow, wow. Tree-lined path. Actually, there's a couple in Kirribilli, yeah. And they're full of jacaranda and that beautiful, beautiful purple and blue colors. And yeah, yeah. So yeah, I do when I go and do outdoor photo shoots, I just enjoy taking people into some magical spots that I know all over Sydney. It's just so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
Because
and
I do a program called Brand in a Day, and I do the ultimate speaker show real film days, and they're all different products and the different niches and needs and then outputs. So it's been really quite, I get the love of being able to do creativity, working with different type of avatars and then creating magic for both of them, but based on my very strong belief about an understanding of branding anyway. So
yeah,
and quality as well, quality control and making sure things are delivered well, you know.
yeah. Yeah, but it also, when you take someone out into those sorts of environments, it changes the way they feel about things. So when you're photographing them, the the they show a different feel, or there's something different that comes through, opposed to being in a room.
Yes,
Even though the room's set up, it shows something different about them when they're out in the environment.
yeah, that's true. That's true. They get people get excited. I mean, if I'm ever in a photo shoot or getting my photograph taken myself, I obviously know what I want, but when you've got somebody who's actually as strong in belief about the strength about how to capture you as a brand, you don't even have to worry about a thing. That's the peace of mind that you get with the professional. It's very interesting when you don't have that. You feel very disconnected to the photographer, and and that's again, it goes back to Aviva Drescher's example where she was pissed off because she wasn't feeling comfortable with her photographer. So it kind of showed up, and then she made a mistake with that imagery. So feeling comfortable, knowing that just is a big part of having getting the best energy exchange and the best results. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, pretty cool.
yeah.
I mean, I've been doing it for like 20 years. It's been, yeah, it's so I can do this in my eyes closed.
Mm. So do you have a favorite person or thing that you've photographed that sticks out in your mind? Someone favorite, or something that, really attracted you? Let's go to the person first. You don't have to mention names, but if there was someone that was,
Yeah.
that really inspired you, and you just did amazing things with. Do
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Beautiful lady called Michelle Harmdog, and I photographed her, and I'll never forget there was a phone call I had, and I was in the backyard actually at the time, and 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 this phone rang, and on the other end of the phone was this very, very strong lady. Are you Zahrina? And I'm like, yes. And she goes, I really want you to photograph me. You are the only one in the whole of Australia that knows how to capture me in my brand. And I went, thank you. Let's really appreciate that. And she says, I'm in Melbourne and I am going to be coming up. And so she came up. She was just such an amazing personality, so strong, so vivacious, completely like out of this world in personality. So she was in my we were like having this dance in my studio, and she was like this in natural light studio, and it was like a tango. So it was like a tango. So I told her, like I tell my clients, I dress them, I style them, I tell them what to wear, and I tell them what not to bring and what to bring, right? And what not to bring. So she brings 3 suitcases of all the clothes and all the shoes she can bring. And I'm like, oh, Michelle, that's insane. And all the most beautiful designer clothes and shoes you have ever seen. The jewelry was out of this world. It was dress up for young and old. It was completely fun. The light was coming in, it was streaming in, there was all the beautiful light, the sunlight, it was beaming. She and I were having this tango, there was a dance and this energy, and it was just like boom, boom, boom. And I was like, wow, wow, this is so powerful and magical. She was enjoying it, and she was up on the wall like here. And so she was moving around, and I was in front of her, and I was having fun. The music was gone, and it was just beautiful. And all of a sudden, she said, "Stop." And I went, "Okay, do you want to go to the ladies, Michelle? Are you all right?" "Okay, what's the matter? You're right." And she said, "No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I've got to tell you something." I said, "Okay. Do we need to change clothes? What do you want to do? You okay? And can I help you with something?" And she said, "No, I've got to tell you something." And she's standing there on the wall. The sun is streaming in. And she said, "You need to know something." I said, "What is it?" She said, "I have a tumor. I have a tumor up here." And I was like, oh, and it was at that time I literally just dropped my camera. It's like, it was like, what? Like, I couldn't talk. I was floored. A tumor, like tumor. And she said, yeah. And you need to understand that she talked to me, she said that you are absolutely pivotal in my story and in my life to be able to do what I want to do as a legacy. And I was like, all the blood must have drained from my face because I said, because I didn't want to ask her, but I did. I'm going to cry. But she made the biggest change in me. And she said that, I said, I want to talk to you about your legacy. And she said, my legacy is to get onto, with the photos that you do for me, the branding that you create for me, I want to get onto the boards of all these businesses, like on the boards, to make a difference for the young women coming through. And so your photos are going to do that and help me do that. And I was like, oh, yes. I mean, yes, but I want you to enjoy all of this. And she says, yes, I will. And Michelle, I don't even know how I could kept on photographing. I was just in a daze. But 2 months later, she passed away.
2 months. How old was she?
40s,
40.
45, 47. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
what happened is that she lived a legacy. She got onto the boards in that short amount of time. She made the impact that she wanted. And she said, she said to me, I was the most pivotal part of helping her reach a legacy. And, and I'm so emotional about it. It just shows me that my work that I do for people is a lot more than superficial, ego driven, icing on the cake, dressing up that person. I work with the person's heart, the soul, help them make a change in their life. And that's what my legacy work is. It's helping people change, helping people be the real them.
And that's what's important, to bring out the real person. It's not the person with all the masks, or hiding behind this facade of whatever it might be. It's
Yeah.
actually bringing that person out, that real personality, that real you person, and letting it shine, because that's how important it is. It's important that we all be ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's not about showing up and pretending that you're someone that you're not, because it doesn't work 99% of the time. People will work that out. But you've got to work it out yourself so that you can get out of life what you want to get out of life, instead of conforming or pretending to be something that you're not, because of fear of
Yeah.
being seen or being heard or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So it's bringing out the best in them, with photography, and giving them the confidence, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I don't like having my photo taken. Oh, I don't like looking at myself in photos," and all this sort of stuff. But you give them a confidence, or you give them something, and when they see their photos, they go, "Wow, is that really me?" You
Yeah.
know, and getting them to look at themselves, not because most days we look at ourselves in the mirror. We doing our hair or putting on makeup or doing something, but you bring something else out. So that person that they see in the mirror is that person, but the person they see in the photo is the same person with a different perspective.
Mm. I love what you just said, because that different perspective is like what we need, and sometimes we need to sort of bring that out in different ways, and different and photography and video is the strongest mediums that you can do that, and oh yeah, and the voice and audio.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah,
Very, very true. But a picture can tell 1,000 stories or 1,000 words. You
yeah,
know, um, it's like looking at art, which we'll get onto after this. But when you look at a piece of art or you look at somebody, you'll see something different. You might see in their eyes, or you'll see something on their face that really stands out and draws your attention to. But it's usually the eyes or the hair. Your eyebrows are the foundation of the shape of your face, and then your eyes, the color of your eyes. Some people's eyes, I've seen people with blue eyes that are like, it's actually like see-through glass. They're so blue.
yes, yes.
It's quite incredible. They're just like, I don't know, they're like crystals that you can see right through, seeing into the soul of somebody so easily with that really bright. Oh, I don't know. There's
No,
only
magic. I know. I mean, you think about eyeballs. I mean, I've seen my fair share of eyeballs and through my lens, and I know I get really yeah, I love that. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's nice.
yeah, yeah. And that tells a story in itself. But when you get someone and you sit down with them and you show them the photos, or you send them the photos, and they're thinking, "Oh, do I look? Don't I look? Do I look? Don't I look?" And then they look and they go, "Wow, let's see more." And they're going through them quite surprised at how, I'm going to say, how good they look.
Yeah, it's powerful when people can really own themselves in some great imagery, and it's nice. It's nice. It's really good. I've watched some of the people grow as a person through the processes that I take them through branding and photography and storytelling, and helping them create that brand and what it looks like and sounds like. And I've seen the changes in them. It's remarkable. It's just remarkable. It's very empowering, and it's humbling.
Yeah, yeah. And it is good to watch someone grow their confidence and their self-esteem and their self-worth, because their posture changes, their
Yeah,
expressions on their face change, the tone in their voice changes because they have more confidence in themselves.
yeah,
And when you look at photos, and there's lots of photographers that do photography branding and all sorts of things, and you look at someone, and if you know them and then you see these photographs of them, you kind of go, wow, you know, wow,
yeah.
because they're amazing, and they can be so lifelike, so lifelike, when you take photos of somebody. Do you find that?
Life like,
Yeah, yeah. That real person coming out on that paper.
yeah, yeah, yeah. In the imagery, yeah. Well, that's just me. Well, for me, it's capturing their soul and that energy. I love the energy when I capture people. Yeah,
And you would notice when you first start with them what their energy is like. And as you progress through, that energy gets stronger and more excited and more game, I would
Yes.
say, to have a go at doing something different. They
Yeah.
start off maybe meek and mild, and then they think, oh, this is fun. What else can I do? I could do
Yes.
this or I could do that or whatever and have a bit of fun with it. And that's when their real personality comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure does. Yeah. I think it's exciting. Yeah. And also I know how to mold them, like it's a skill, you've got to be a kind of like a really good director and to help people really get the best out of their body, about it, out of their eyes, out of their face, the angle, everything. So there's just so much to goes into me capturing the images within milliseconds. It's actually really wonderful challenge. You're touching on all senses. It's
Mm,
fascinating.
mm. And to capture it, as you say, in a millisecond, you've got
Yeah,
to capture that because it can change in that millisecond very quickly, can't it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to say, what is it about photography that keeps you going besides people showing up and you see them walk out the door and they're feel different, their energy's different, they're almost skipping out the door when they sort of kind of walked in. They're skipping out the door because they're so happy and they had so much fun with the photo shoot. What is it that after you're going through and you're editing the photos or you're looking at the photos that you were choosing for them to send to them, what is it that you really look for there?
It was just a bit crackly. What's the last bit, Faye?
What is it that you look for there when you're editing the photos or you're looking at the
Oh
photos
yeah.
to choose to send to them?
Oh yeah. It's again, it's all that energy, that powerful energy. I am not one for taking a million photos and looking at the just looking at bad photos. I'm always taking good, exceptional, world class photos. And so when people see their imagery, they're going. I'm always ever. I'm never. I'm always getting a wow. So there's been a wow moment all the time, and I think that it's just fascinating seeing human behavior about their self-esteem come through. Like, oh, is that me? Yeah, it's you. And it's because I have created that and captured that, the confidence, the superwoman, the superman in the man and the woman. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I've seen that, I see that, and so I capture it. I don't want to capture wallflowers or shy, the shyness and shy people. Does that
yeah,
make sense? I want to capture the strength of the person. And
yeah,
so whenever I am delivering photos, it's always the strength of that person. And I'm always delivering it 24/7. I love it. I love it, and it's very powerful. It just is. Yeah.
yeah. And I can see the
Very good.
power
So
in,
this is legacy work for me.
yeah.